Hello, community. Happy Thursday to all of you. I hope you and yours are doing great. I hope your week has been great so far. And we're looking forward to day 80. We're getting ready to do a countdown from 10 starting today. It's been a major accomplishment. What a journey collectively as a community we were able to take so far. And once more, welcome. Happy Thursday to all of you. Another beautiful community session that we have today on YouTube live stream. As always, we're always so excited for these events as they give us the opportunity to display the industry as a whole, the crypto industry. We can discuss the blockchain technology as a whole, and then of course, then zoom in and discuss our ecosystem. We always like to build parallels because we understand that education is key. So we always aim to inform, educate, and inspire the community based on building bridges and building parallels on how our industry works, what the blockchain technology is all about, the opportunities in the space, the challenges we face, and then we build bridges back to our ecosystem, and then we can showcase and highlight how we are going about adding value to this space. With that said, community, there is so much to be unpacked today. Let's get straight to it. You know the drill. We always like to come to you first, acknowledge you, see who is here, who was able to make it, and then we'll get right to today's session. After that, we'll go full circle, come right back to you again. And as we're doing that, we will be actively engaging in the Twitter challenge, day 80. I remember when we just started day 1, it seemed like an unsurmountable task, but collectively, we were able to do this. For the past 80 days, community consistency is key. We've been collectively active, involved in putting the word out and bringing awareness to our ecosystem. This is how it's supposed to be. It's community driven, and this is what will take us to where we need to get, working together as a community. With that said, let me come and check on you, community. Let me check who is here, who was able to make it, acknowledge you, and then let's get right to the topics today. My great brother Thembi is here, says good day, amazing Steve, Queen Mama Wino, and the beautiful and the BULLRUN family. Getting ready for another educative session. Let's go. Always a pleasure seeing you in the community, my great brother Thembi. You're a great community leader. You're very much appreciated for the VCs you're hosting. You played a major role in getting to day 80 of the challenges. You're very much appreciated, not just by us, but by the entire community, of course, as well. Keep up the excellent work, my brother. You have a lot of love and respect from all of us, and you're very much appreciated. None other than the great brother Theo, the legend, the myth himself. It's amazing seeing you here, great brother Theo. Always a pleasure seeing you. Your great, contagious, positive energy fills the entire community, fills the entire ecosystem. So it's always a pleasure seeing you, great brother. I hope you and yours are well and your week has been great so far. Greetings, my great brother Steve. He says, dearest great Queen Mama Wino and my wonderful BULLRUN family. I pray you and yours are all doing fantastic. I'm so excited for this session today. Let's go. So are we, great brother Theo. Thank you very much for your feedback, your input, and your consistency, and for making day 80 a success. We have Queen Lati here, none other than Queen Lati. Thank you so much, Queen Lati, for your consistency, your leadership, and it's just amazing seeing the queens in the community stepping up, taking on leadership, and just blessing us with their presence, with their energy, with their consistent hard work. You are very much appreciated, Queen Lati, as well. Good evening, BULLRUN family. It's good to wait for another exciting day where we sit down and wait patiently for the session to start. Amazingly, I get to understand the sessions better by reading before. This is amazing. Thank you so much for your preparation, for your consistency, for your leadership in the community. You're very, very much appreciated. We have Queen Nosy here as well. Welcome, Queen Nosy. Always a pleasure seeing you in the community. You're very much appreciated as well. Good evening, good people. Good evening back to you too, Good Nosy. You're very much appreciated. None other than the great, my brother Demo as well. How are you doing, my brother? I hope you and yours are well as well. I hope everyone is doing fantastic. Blockchain technology is the future indeed. Well said, well said. Always a pleasure seeing you in the community as well. Thank you for keeping the VCs open 24/7, 365, and making also this challenge a success. It's a team effort. So thank you very much for your added contributions, your consistency. Very valuable, very much appreciated. My great brother Glenn, of course, as well. Let's get this party started. $1 BRL token is near. Let's hit that milestone. Well said, my great brother Glenn. Likewise to you as well for your commitment, your consistency, your encouragement, and the leadership you have in the community. It's very much appreciated. So also for making this day 80 such a major success. We have Queen Nosy as well. Again, evening, BULLRUN family. It's another day for education, information, and grasping new technicalities. It's a wow woo. Well said, Queen Nosy. It's such a pleasure having you around. Now we have Queen Beatrice here as well. Welcome, Queen Beatrice. Such a pleasure having you in the community. Thank you as well for your leadership, your consistency, your commitment, and it's very much appreciated. We see you all over the social medias, the telegrams, the Zooms. You're very much appreciated for your support and your engagement. Good evening, family. As we wait for the teachings from the Master himself, you're all very much appreciated. Thank you so much, Queen Beatrice. We have Queen Val here as well. Hello, Mr. Steve. Hello, Queen Mother. Greetings to us all, family. Happy Thursday. So excited about this session today. Let's go, family. It's a pleasure always having you in the community as well. Thank you, Queen Val, for your leadership, your commitment, your consistency, your tireless efforts that you put in, your growth within the community. It's just been amazing. Your positive energy is contagious. You're very much appreciated, Queen Val, and keep up the excellent, amazing work. It's amazing to see your growth, your consistency. It's just amazing. Thank you very much. We have Queen Grace. Queen Grace, welcome, Queen Grace. Nice to have you here as well. It's such a pleasure having you here as well. Thank you as well for all your hard work, your efforts you put in on Zoom, your leadership within the community, your consistency, all that you do for the community, all the inputs. It's very much appreciated, Queen Grace. Thank you so much for all the efforts. Greetings, Mr. Steve. Greetings to Mama Wino and the BULLRUN Life family. Looking forward to yet another exciting day to be educated, informed, and inspired. We have Queen Val putting out the BULLRUN website and Telegram groups for new members that can join the community. Thank you very much for this. Feel free to join the BULLRUN website for your information. We have Killer Whale website here as well, and the Telegram, and so do we have the Survivor as well. So feel free to join the movement and join the community. We are happy to embrace you and have you being part of this ecosystem. We have Queen Nancy. Thank you so much, Queen Nancy, for your efforts, your involvement, your consistency, your leadership. Very much appreciated for always being so consistent and supportive. Good evening, Steve. Hello, BULLRUN community. It's another great day to get some knowledge from our favorite dev. I'm happy and excited about this evening. Let's go BULLRUN. Thank you so much, Queen Nancy. Always a pleasure seeing you here. Thank you for your consistency and your leadership and your support that you always show on a consistent basis. Now we have Queen Patricia. Queen Patricia, you're very much appreciated. Thank you for your involvement, your dedication, your commitment, your consistency, and also making Day 80 another major success. We appreciate you very much for being such a great leader in the community, a wonderful queen with positive energy. We all appreciate you very, very much. Good evening, family. Thank you again, Steve, for availing yourself for our benefit. Stay blessed always. May you also stay blessed, you and yours, Queen Patricia. We have our Queen Mother Awino herself. Thank you so much, Mama Awino, for always being a great leader for us all, a mother to us all. Thank you for your commitment, your consistency, your encouragement, and by leading by example. You are very, very much appreciated for all the effort and putting forth the movement, especially for the women. It's amazing to have such a dynamic ecosystem that has a dedicated community and token just for the women, to give them the platform, give them a voice where they can feel at home, where they can be amongst themselves. There is nothing like it out there. So it's amazing, your vision that you have, that you put forth, and that we can all benefit from, especially the queens. And we are very supportive of that vision. So thank you so much. Greetings to all queens and kings. Hello, Steve. Happy to be here, family. Looking forward to another educational and informative session. We are very humbled to have you here, Queen Mother Awino. Thank you very much for your kind words and your commitment, dedication, and support. We have Queen Cozy here as well. Queen Cozy, welcome. Nice having you here. Greetings, Mama Awino, Brother Steve, and the BULLRUN family. Grateful to be part of the best ecosystem in this space. Looking forward to an inspiring educational session. Such a pleasure having you here, Queen Cozy. Thank you for your commitment, your consistency, also for your leadership, and for making Day 80 such a major success. All your input that you put in, your added value you bring into the ecosystem is very valuable, and you are very much appreciated. We have my great brother, Cryptorizer, here. We all know him within our ecosystem, within our community. If you see these beautiful banners in the space, you know it has to come from our brother Cryptorizer. He puts that extra flavor into all of this, and you're very much appreciated also for your positive energy that is so contagious, your leadership, your commitment, your consistency. You're very, very much appreciated. Hello, BULLRUN family, he says. I've got the BRL fever. Let's go. Don't we all? It's a good fever to have. Well said, my brother. Queen Val says, suggests, encourages us to all hit the like button so that these informations will go out and reach a larger crowd. And that's what we want. And Queen Mother Awino says, congratulations, community, for the 80th day retweet challenge. Absolutely. It's a major milestone. I've not seen a community going 80 days on a challenge on Twitter. This is incredible, really. You are such an amazing community. Super proud of you all. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Very, very proud of you all. And then we have Queen Margaret, of course, as well. Always a pleasure seeing you, Queen Margaret. You're very much appreciated. Thank you for your consistency, your leadership, your encouragement, your commitment, your consistency, and for making Day 80 such a major success as well. You're very much appreciated. And she says, hello, community, and I would like to thank you all for a milestone on our challenge. What an amazing time we have. Blessings to our beloved Queen Mother and my brother, Steve. Thank you so much for your feedback, your kind words. You are very much appreciated, Queen Margaret. Then we have Queen Lati again here saying, I am benefiting a lot by researching and reading about the topic before the presentation. It makes me understand better the topic for the day. Thank you, BULLRUN family. Thank you so much for your feedback, your warm and kind words. Well said, Queen Lati. And with this said, let's get to today's topic, as there is a lot to be covered today. And I'm really looking forward to share all this with you. And as you saw, the thumbnail said it all: blockchain technology, the future of finance. What we are going, or what we're aiming to achieve today, is to first of all understand where we stand today. Where are we right now as we speak? And then we want to move forward and see, look at what's the future, what's in the pipelines right now, what's in the pipeline, what can we expect? And then we want to move forward with what's the future, what can we anticipate, what will the future look like, okay? And we gave ourselves a decade, 10 years, and I'm about to break down the reason why I gave us that 10 years. And then we'll summarize by, we'll zoom in and then look at how we can add value, what we have to do now to really prepare ourselves for the future, and how we need to position ourselves. So this is a session that has a lot to be covered. So let's get right to it, community. If you don't mind, let me share my screen with you, and then we can get this going. Okay. Let's get this going right here. As always, let's start like with the market. And first off, I just want to mention that this session aims, like I said, let's look at where we are right now. It's very important to understand. Look at the zoom out, look at the big picture. Where are we currently right now? And then what's in the pipeline? What's in the pipeline right now? We are so early in this stage right now. And then we look at what's the future like from now to 10 years. What's it going to look like? And then we're also going to look at, zoom in, and then look at how we're preparing ourselves for what's in the pipeline right now and what the future brings. So we need to take full advantage of this beautiful technology that we have, and we're going to really dive deep and look at these things in details. So as we see, the market is up, it's green right now. Bitcoin is jumping, closing in on 69,000. It's at 68,800 right now. Ethereum has also jumped. It's at 3,400. We are up 3.4% for the day. This is great. And the greed indicator is going back up. Right now we're at 72. And this is really all to say about the market. Like I said, let's get right into today's topic. Today's topic is blockchain technology. It is the future of finance. So to really appreciate this and understand how blockchain is the future of finance, let's kickstart with where are we right now? The important thing, and one thing that will really, and we'll see this as we progress in this session, one thing that is very important is education. Education is key. Education really puts us on a whole other level. It gives us confidence, and it also it's a way how crypto will become mainstream. It's through education. And the more educated we are as a community and as an industry, the more the faster the adaptation will come in. So with that said, let's start from the very beginning. Let's zoom out and look at where are we right now? Where are we standing right now? Again, the topic is blockchain technology, the future of finance. So with that said, let's look at right now, where are we standing? What's going on currently, today? Today, we are facing a traditional financial monetary system that is debt-driven. This monetary system is inflationary, and due to its inflationary aspects, it also causes the purchasing power to be lost. This has been around for over 300 years now. And before the US dollar becoming the global reserve currency, there were others before it as well. And they all faced the same fate because this is a system that is not sustainable. However, it does exactly what it was meant to do. It enslaves the 99% and traps them into a debt cycle where it will be near impossible to get out of it. So this system is geared and developed strictly for the 1%. It benefits those. And as we progress throughout this session, we'll see how systematically and strategically the monetary system has been put in place to benefit the 1%. And even as the new technologies are being put in place, it favors the 1%. And it really leaves out those who are the majority, the 99%. But as we progress throughout this session, I will keep highlighting it. Currently, we are in a debt-driven financial economic system. This monetary system is highly inflationary. The only way you can trigger this market is by increasing your debt and printing more money. And this is by design meant to be like that, because the more money you print, artificially your assets which is in the hands of the 1% majority, are inflated, meaning they raise in price. So this is done by design so that even during the high or low interest rates phases, the 1% benefit either way. It's a win-win for them. This is a rigged financial system that is developed not to benefit the 99%. As we progress, we will highlight even further and show you why. For now, we're in a debt-driven ecosystem, monetary system that is inflationary, loses purchasing power. The only way to trigger it is to raise the debt ceiling and to print more money, to flood it into the financial system through the central banks. And then from there, it will go into the hands of those that are actually triggering and running the markets, which is the 99%. And the beautiful thing about this technology, it beats out every other asset class, be it US debts, treasury bills, be it real estate, gold, and stock market. It beats out all of them, like we discussed in the last session. And this is why this technology, the blockchain technology, it's literally the future. Now, let's, like we always say, with this said, let's not take our word for it. Trust is good, but let's verify. So let's go through some articles and verify. Let's find out what's in the pipeline now. We just covered what the financial system is currently. Let's go to the next step now and verify and see what's in the pipeline for the blockchain technology. So the first article that we look at here, you see the headlines: Bitcoin slides 5% as treasury yields spike, highest level since November. So like we always say, this financial industry, financial market it's by design developed to benefit the 1%. So it's ironic how when the treasury bills, the US debts, when the interest rate spiked, meaning those who are purchasing or investing in US treasury bills, in US debts, are actually, when that happens, that you invest in US treasury bills, US debts, it affects Bitcoin in a negative way. And Bitcoin is just a buzzword for the cryptocurrency because Bitcoin holds more than half of the entire cryptocurrency industry. So whatever Bitcoin does, it affects everybody else. So you see how, ironically, when the treasury bills, which are US debt instruments, those that are investing in it, because they're now yield higher yields, it affects Bitcoin negatively. And it dropped by 5% 3 days ago. And as we move forward to other articles, specifically, actually Bitcoin had tumbled by $5,000 just within 24 hours alone. And because the interest rates jump. Well, what interest rates jumps? Again, rising treasury yield, okay? These catched investors' interest. So these treasury bills, investing in a US debt is very lucrative. And majority of institutions right now in the crypto space, especially in stablecoins, it's mandatory that these stablecoins invest heavily in US debts. So like we discussed this very early on within this ecosystem, within this community, last year we started talking about this on how strategically we'll see how large traditional institutions will start investing in US debts. There'll be a lot of stable coins taking over, that they'll be investing heavily in US debts. Like Tether right now is the seventh largest, is one of the largest US debt holders actually right now. And they hold already 1/10 of the debt of China, which is by far the largest US debt holder. And this says a lot for a company that is merely 5 years old. So let's move on to another article here. So another step also that we see that is in the pipeline are so-called real-world assets. This is such a buzzword right now. And this is something also that we've been discussing for a very long time within our ecosystem. And now it's a reality, okay? So from real estate and digital art to government bonds, like we just said, tokenizing real-world assets is no longer a thing of the future. It is happening right now as we speak. And this is definitely bringing a lot of adaptation into the crypto space, because these are items, these are commodities, investment instruments that are known in the traditional markets and are already being used actively, but now they're moving on chain. This just shows us where this is heading. Blockchain, again, is literally the future of finance. And if we should move forward, we can see here the top 4 highlights of real world assets, okay, are US dollar pegged and fiat backed. And actually, they're not fiat backed, but they're actually treasury backed, which is US debt backed stablecoins. So these are by far the ones with the most use cases. And then we also have commodity backed, okay, tokens. And all these items are on chain already. The one that is dominating on chain, of course, is the stable coins. So we have stable coins, and they account for 99% of all stable coins. These are the ones that are fiat backed, meaning US debt. Like we said, commodity backed tokens are also huge. These are gold and other commodities. We'll go through them shortly. And then we also have, like we discussed, treasury products. These are US debts that are being tokenized as well and placed on the chain. So these are the pipelines. These are things that are actually currently right now on the pipeline at their earliest stages. And then, of course, credits, private credits. This is another tokenized assets, tokenized real world assets that are being used actively to credit. And mostly it's used in the automotive industry to lend out all these funds. And these are mainly used by emerging markets, emerging countries, mainly in Africa, South America, and Asia. And these are the things that are in the pipelines right now. And most of them are already in use right now. And let's move forward. Let's look at them even further. So like we said, tokenized treasuries, which are US debts. BlackRock, of course, they're always at the front of things. They understand that the importance to move forward and to be ahead of the curve, you need to have aggregate liquidity. You need to find a point where you can really collect all the liquidity together, because all of these real world assets that we just looked at, started from stable coins to real commodities such as gold and diamonds, and then tokenized US debts. All of these will need liquidity. You have to back them by real liquidity. And this is why they came out with their fund. And it's the liquidity fund that will back all these assets, real world assets that we're about to experience. What they do in this fund is they invest in treasury bills, in US debts. And this is one of these 4 that we saw. Tokenized treasury. These are tokenized US debt. So BlackRock is at the forefront of this. They are not just the largest asset manager with close to 10 trillion US dollars under asset management, but they're now also entering the tokenization of US treasury bills. So, and you can invest in this fund only if you're a verified investor. How do you become verified? Of course, going through the KYCs and anti-money laundering, but also you have to have at least a net worth of 5 million US dollars before you can participate in this. So remember how we were talking about the rigged financial system? It was designed just to benefit the 1%. And for the rest of the world, it's meant to enslave them in this broken and rigged financial system that is debt-driven, that will put us in a vicious debt cycle. And the compounding effect of this debt cycle will keep us enslaved and cause us to near impossible to get out of this. So keep that in mind. So again, this is only for those who have assets of 5 million US dollars or above. And so it's not for the common folks. It's not for the regular people. So this is only a fund for the high net worth 1%ers that can better themselves and participate in these funds. So what's next? Like we said, you see here, stable coins is one of them. We discussed tokenization now. Now stable coins are also one of them. And as we see here, they're really expanding. Stable coins have been at the forefront right now. They've been doing extremely well. And so far, stable coins backed by US Treasury bills, again, you see here, the stable coins are also backed by treasuries, US debts. So they have been really front and center in the crypto space. And as we see, they also have been having the highest volume as far as cryptocurrencies are concerned. If you see here, Tether alone, their largest crypto stablecoin, has close to 66 billion in volume, 65 billion and 700 million. And if you put Bitcoin and Ethereum's volume and combine them, you only get to 44 billion, close to 45. So still 20 billion less volume than stablecoins alone. This is for the simple reason because it's just so liquid. The more liquidity you have, the more liquid of an asset you have, the higher the volume. Liquidity and volume go hand in hand. Let's not believe what I'm saying. Let's not trust it. Let's verify. So if we look at ETFs currently right now, we see that they're closing in on 5%. Global ETFs right now are closing in on 5% of the entire Bitcoin supply. These are Bitcoin spot ETFs. They have 70 billion in value right now. So they are 70 billion liquid. They have 70 billion in liquidity. If we compare this and look at what the liquidity and compared to the volume is concerned, you see how this graph just goes top right. This just shows you that the more liquidity they're accumulating, the higher the volume is. So this is just to verify what we just said, that the more liquidity you accumulate, the higher your volume becomes. And this is what you need, because in order for an economy to be efficient and effective, you need these two items right here combined. You need liquidity and volume, because transactions dictate a healthy economy. And this is why you see when BlackRock comes in, first thing what they do, they aggregate liquidity. That's the first thing you do. Come in here, create a fund, liquidity fund, put some funds together, because you know once you do that, this happens. You put some funds together, boom, you have the highest volume right now, closing in on 190 billion in volume. This is insane. And back to the liquidity. There's 70 billion in liquidity right now under ETFs. And ETFs are basically, they're not the real deal. They're the paper version, just like the fiat currency that was backed by gold previously. But now, you get the paper version of the real deal. And it's ironic that the fake version of the real deal, not the real deal, has deeper liquidity than the original. You can compare the 70 billion to the 1.3 billion in liquidity right now. So this is a shame, and this shouldn't be like this. If Bitcoin was efficient, this wouldn't have been the case. And this is why we are discussing today's blockchain is the future. And we need to understand, how do we have to position ourselves as an industry, as an ecosystem, to enable ourselves, and especially the 1%, because keep in mind, this ecosystem, this financial system is not designed for us. It's designed for the 1%. And this is what BlackRock is telling us here with these funds as well. You have to have at least 5 million in order to participate here. So this is not for your common people, your 99%. So this is why, as an ecosystem, we need to develop something, and we need to learn from what we have right now currently. We need to look at the big picture of the entire industry and learn from it. We have to understand what's in the pipelines right now, what's going on in the industry, what do we have to do different, and in order to enable and empower our people or the 99% that really I need to be banked to have this financial independence, it's important for us to give them that platform, that outlet. As we progress throughout this session, we'll understand this closer, especially when we zoom in and look at our ecosystem. For now, let's continue focusing on what's next right now. So we discussed tokens that are backed by diamonds. These are now the tokenized commodities that we say here, commodity-backed tokens. So here are diamonds in the space right now, and diamond industry alone is a $1.2 trillion industry, just diamonds alone. And now the good thing about these security tokens backed by diamonds, they're eligible now for IRAs, which are retirement plans available for institutional investors such as pension funds and endowments. So again, this caters more towards institutions, pension funds, and endowments. You don't see retailers here. So the 99% are again not represented here. Okay, this is strictly for institutions, pensions, and endowments. And these are usually in the double-digit millions, if not more. So let's move on further. What's in the pipeline again? So crypto staking has been booming. Crypto staking is a big deal. It's an entire industry. And it's reached so far as that crypto staking now, the rewards are now even 450% higher than the S&P 500 dividends. So it's higher than the stock market's dividends. So this, of course, got into the ears of institutions. Okay, so it's incredible how, with the highest rewards returning over 84% in staking rewards. So you see here that crypto staking is booming. It's a big industry, and institutions have heard about this, and they really want to get a piece of the pie. And currently, the most rewards you get, and this is by Algorand, by the way, it's a layer 2 blockchain using Ethereum, and it's issuing 84% per year, and they issue their own tokens. So this just shows you how inflationary this blockchain is. So this is another thing that keep in mind. Staking is in high demand. How large is staking in demand? Grayscale. They are launching a new institutional. Have you heard about retailers yet? No. All these funds were for institutions, right? We saw here how all these BlackRock, this is for institutions, 5 million and above. We saw here how this diamond security backed with diamonds, these are also for institutions and pension funds and endowments. And here we are again. Grayscale is for institutions. You see this pattern going on. All these massive assets that are being put on the chain, they're singling out the average investors, the retailers, such as you and myself. These beautiful funds they're building and these beautiful assets they're putting together, it's strictly for the 1%. Always keep this in mind. So Grayscale just came out. They launched with a new institutional crypto fund with staking rewards. This is incredible. What they're doing now, first of all, what is Grayscale? If you want to understand what Grayscale is, they're one of the Bitcoin ETF issuers. And keep in mind, you can't stake Bitcoin. So they're already the largest. Grayscale is the #1 Bitcoin spot ETF issuer with over 328,000 Bitcoin, which is currently over 22 billion worth. They are way above and way ahead of BlackRock. Even though BlackRock has been catching up and will eventually flip them, but as of now, Grayscale is the largest Bitcoin spot ETF issuer. Now they've put their sights on Ethereum and other, we'll look at other staking, proof of stake tokens that they're getting involved with right now. because like we said, staking is a big deal and institutions now want a piece of this. So this is a fund that is opened and dedicated to institutions like we saw here. And they want to invest heavily in staking, proof of stake tokens, such as, let's look at them. They have Solana, they have Osmos, they have Polkadot, and others. So mainly, the largest chunk we see here is Solana, and then they have other staking tokens as well from proof of stake. This just shows you how important staking is. And this is all currently right now in the pipeline at the very, very early stages. And these funds are not for the regular folks like us. This is for the 1%, and these 1% are the institutions and very wealthy investors that have large funds already. So keep that in mind. So staking is a major, major, major role, and tokenization, like we saw, play a major, major role as well. And let's move on. The next pipeline that we see right now, the trends are artificial intelligence. This is a major, major role, because what will happen with artificial intelligence is it will make things so much more efficient for everyone. As we speak, in all sorts of industries, artificial intelligence will play a larger and more vital role as we move forward. We've looked at this article prior, and I just want us to just scroll down and look at the numbers here. So-called white-collar works, these are like office jobs. These office jobs and manual, tedious jobs, 66% of this will be actually taken over or performed by artificial intelligence. And as far as working hours, it will drop working hours by 40%. So what does this mean? We'll need less employees. So this will actually cut the employees' hours. They'll be able to be more creative, to be more efficient, and they'll almost half of their work will be taken over by artificial intelligence. So, and another thing also is applications, enterprise applications that will be built will entail 40% of that will be actually artificial intelligence. Will have some sort of artificial intelligence technology in it. So the future as we face it, our Internet of Things, and we see this, for example, in our vehicles, like self-driving vehicles, will be able to just enter our homes, and everything will be done through artificial intelligence. We'll have to manually do things. We'll be able to just speak out commands, and things will just happen efficiently. So technology through artificial intelligence is going to take over, and we are at the pipelines right now. We're at the early stages of all of this. So this is another thing that we are in right now, very, very early on. So instead of being afraid of artificial intelligence, we should embrace it, because it will make things more efficient. Yes, it will cut working hours, but this is the future. And if we understand this, the more important it is to be forward thinking and embracing what's ahead of us. So artificial intelligence is the next technology that it will play a major role. 10 years from today, it will cause the world not to be the same again. Let's move forward. And as we're closing in on all of this, let's always keep in mind that at the end of the day, there won't be a bull run as we know it without the interest rate cuts. Because based on this financial system, the only way to trigger the cycles, because like we said, this financial system has a 4-year cycle. It has a boom cycle and a bust cycle, a bull market and a bear market. Both markets are triggered by liquidity. The bull market is triggered by liquidity in abundance, a lot of it, and the bear market is triggered by lack of the liquidity. So with that said, and with that knowledge in mind, it's common sense that means the bull market can't be triggered unless there is an interest rate cut. So this is also just part of our information and education for us to be educated as an industry, to know that the moment we hear that the Feds are starting to cut their interest rates, by then, latest by then, we should be able to understand that now the real bull market is officially being kickstarted. With this said, 2 weeks ago, led by Switzerland, the Central Bank of Switzerland and Central Bank of Mexico, they already had went ahead and cut their interest rates, started cutting the interest rates. Usually central banks do that in unison, so they do that simultaneously. So this has put a lot of pressure on other central banks, such as the European Central Bank, the British, the one in England, and also the US, of course. So all this is about to come, but we won't have a true, real bull market until the interest rates are really being cut. It usually takes up to 6 weeks for the funds, the fiat, to then enter the space. And if we understand how our financial system works, we will understand that we won't be having a bull run unless the interest rates are cut. So always keep that in mind. Now, with all this said, we've discussed how the latest technology are coming, the tokenizations of commodities, of real estate, real assets, the stable coins and all of that. What does this all mean? At the end of the day, all this is about creating a market that has more liquidity. All of these real-world assets, be it stable coins, commodity-backed tokens, like we just looked at, tokenized treasuries, even private credits. What does this all mean? All of this need liquidity. And like we said, without liquidity, there is no bull market, right? Based on our financial system, this is already known that we need liquidity. So in preparation of all of this, we need liquidity. We need to create a market that has more liquidity in order to accommodate all this progress, all this technology, all these tokenizations, all this artificial intelligence. All of this need liquidity. Keep that in mind. Now, to summarize, again, in order to embrace the largest bull market yet, like we discussed, we have to embrace the liquidity and the technology. And so far, there has not been liquidity and technology together, working together and triggering the bull market. It's been always one or the other. The last bull cycle, it was dominated and led by liquidity and retailers like you and me. But this time, it's different. We have BlackRock entering the space and other asset managers. We have real estate institutions. They're bringing on large, such as Grayscale. They're all for institutional crypto funds. They're bringing in liquidity into the space. They understand that that is key, that is very important. And this is why, all of this tied with artificial intelligence, with tokenizations of everything, with increased liquidity that will be needed in the space. This is very, very important. So what we're summarizing here is that this bull run that we're about to prepare for, that we're preparing for, that will be the most massive bull run moving forward as we progress and blockchain becomes the future of finance. It will be a combination of liquidity and technology. This is the bottom line right now. Now that we understand all of this, let's look at recap. Where are we? We discussed what our financial system is like. And then we moved forward and discussed what's in the pipeline. We looked at all of these, right? Tokenizations, real-world assets, the funds from BlackRock, from Grayscale. And we summarized, we understood that the interest rates need to be cut to trigger all of this, to make all this happen. And for that to happen means the markets need more liquidity. And liquidity combined with technology will really put us at a spot where it will be a booming economy. So if this happens, there will be more liquidity in the market than ever before, because there's never been so much everything coming in together. Tokenizing real assets, technology, and liquidity combined, this will give us the largest boom market yet. With that said, I really want us to look at this. This article is by far the most important article I've read in this year so far, and I really want us to go through it. It has so much information, and basically this summarizes the future. It summarizes what ideally an ecosystem is supposed to look forward to, is supposed to build towards. It talks about what the blockchain technology is meant to be, especially for the 99%. So without further notice, let's start. So one of the main drivers of crypto adoption is the innovation and development of the underlying technology, which is the blockchain, right? It's all about the blockchain. It's the underlying technology. Oftentimes we find ourselves so carried away with coins and tokens, and we forget that it's actually the technology that is the most important thing. Because once you use this technology the right way, the blockchain technology, you can accomplish so many things. Let's move on. So blockchain is a distributed ledger that records transactions in a secure, transparent, and immutable way. Let's look at these items. What does this mean? Secure, we understand this. Safety is important. Where there's humans, there is error. And with the blockchain technology, we don't have to trust each other. We have the smart contracts. A code does this, okay? So there's no middleman or middlewoman. There is no institutions in between. We don't have to trust an entity or individuals. We can trust the code. So this is where the security comes in. And transparent, it's because everything is on the blockchain. And you can verify everything. Everything is on the blockchain. It's transparent, and all transactions are recorded. It's a large distributed ledger. So transparency is key, and this was lacking, and it is lacking in the traditional financial market. And immutable just means that the transactions are final, and nobody can stop transactions from peer to peer. If I want to send you funds, cryptocurrency, I can send it to you without having to fear that JP Morgan is going to freeze my account, or I don't have to fear that if I create a video that YouTube doesn't like, they will demonetize me or delete my account, you know? So there is no fear of central institutions that will come and try to put you in harm's way, or block your transactions, or keep you from sending money, your own funds, or limiting you from sending your funds due to holidays or weekdays, or certain hours that you can do them, and so on and so forth. So this is what it's meant with secure transactions, transparent transactions, and immutable transactions. This is what sets the blockchain technology apart from every other asset. This is why the blockchain technology led by Bitcoin is beating out gold, real estate, treasury bills, which is US debts, and the stock market, because it's unique and it has real use case. So it enables peer-to-peer transactions, like we just said, without intermediaries, reduces costs and friction, and enhances efficiency and trust. This is exactly what we just discussed. So these are the these are the great things that this blockchain technology does for us. And if we just move forward here and look at this, another factor that has boosted crypto adoption is the increasing awareness and education among the general public. So education will always play a major role. It will really facilitate the adaptation from mainstream to really embrace crypto. Education is key. So, and this education will boost crypto adaptation and bring more awareness. And this is one of our 4 pillars, but we'll get into that once we zoom in and discuss what added value we bring with our ecosystem. So more people are becoming familiar with the benefits and potential of crypto, such as financial inclusion and empowerment, privacy, and sovereignty. Financial inclusion, this is what the blockchain technology brings, right? But do we see any financial inclusion in BlackRock's tokenized treasury fund? Unless you have 5 million laying around, this is not for you. This financial inclusion is not for the 99%. So blockchain enables ecosystems, communities to be built that include regular folks like you and myself. So this is not what institutions bring. This is not what Grayscale do. They focus on institutions or on pension funds, but not on financial inclusion, not on empowerment, not on privacy, and not on sovereignty. So keep all these things in mind. And crypto adoption is also facilitated by the availability and accessibility of various platforms and services, such as exchanges, wallets, payments, processors, lending platforms, etc. These are all the applications that we see right here. If you come to DeFi Llama, these are all the applications we see that we have. Lido staking platforms, we have Aave lending platforms, we have stablecoins, exchanges. These are all applications that are trustless, meaning these are all codes programmed. These are smart contracts. This is the future. This is blockchain. And this is moving forward. These are all things that will be the future. So we need to embrace education. And the only way we'll boost crypto adaptation is to educate ourselves, have an educated ecosystem, have an educated community, and be an educated industry as a whole. So let's look at, there's a buzzword always known as decentralization. What does that really mean? Let's look at it closely. One of the most significant and revolutionary aspects of crypto is decentralization. Now, let's really understand what it is. Decentralization means that no single entity or authority controls or governs the network, protocol, or data. Let me say it again. Decentralization means that no single entity, authority controls or governs the network, protocol, or data. What is this? Why is everybody going crazy about Bitcoin ETFs? It is controlled by single entities, governed by single entities, and they are in the center, in the middle of all of this. So this is in contradiction to decentralization and to what the blockchain technology was developed in the first place. So while everybody's screaming and excited about Bitcoin spot ETFs by BlackRock, Fidelity, and all of them, it goes against the mythos. It goes against the fundamentals on the reason why blockchain was developed in the first place. Because true decentralization there is no single entity or authority that controls or governs the network, protocol, or data. Instead, now this is the interesting part. Instead, the power and responsibility are distributed among participants, such as you and myself, who are incentivized to cooperate and coordinate through consensus mechanism and economic models. This is what we always keep talking about. Economic models are tokenomics, community. Strategies. This is what it's meant. You use the blockchain technology to do this through mechanisms and economic models. Economic models are tokenomics, token economics, and mechanisms that we have in place. We'll go into more details once we reach the part where we're zooming in. Decentralization is the core of Web3, the next generation of the internet that is built on blockchain and other distributed ledgers. And blockchain creates a more open, fair, and democratic web, where users have more control and ownership of their data, identity, and digital assets. That's what the future is all about. The users should have control and ownership of their own data, of their own identity and own their own digital assets. This is what this blockchain technology is all about. And we tend to forget that because some people are just unwilling to learn this new technology. Yes, there is a steep learning curve, but this is the future. And if you can tell the future, if you know that within 5 to 10 years, this will be the norm, you need to embrace it, and you need to start doing your homework, because this will be the future. And you need to embrace it because nobody is thinking about you. BlackRock is not thinking about you. They're thinking about institutions and people who have $5 million and above. So you are not in their agenda. Grayscale is not thinking about us. They're thinking about institutions, right? They're not here for us. They're here for themselves. Even all these tokenized assets like diamond, gold, real estates, all of this, these are all for institutions. Remember, they're for pension funds. So all of this digital new economy enables us to own our own data, identity, and digital assets. And it also empowers us to be participants in this technology, okay? Now, if we look at here, we can look at, of course, the decentralized applications that we saw. These are these applications: lending, exchanges, staking, and all of that. We know about all these. So this is the already here. This is not just the future. Of course, in the future, there will be even more. Smart contracts, like we said, these are self-executing contracts that are encoded on the blockchain and perform actions based on the predefined rules and conditions. Smart contracts can facilitate trustless and transparent transactions. And this is exactly what we were talking about. We don't need middle institutions, because through the blockchain technology, through smart contracts, we can live a trustless life and that is transparent. We don't need any middleman or institutions in between. So the more we embrace this and the more we are part of this, the better. If we look at DeFi, this is a term that refers to the decentralized and open financial system that is enabled by blockchain and smart contracts, like we just said. These are all the different applications. If you want to stake, if you want to lend and borrow, if you need stable coins, if you want to swap, exchange, all of these are smart contracts, where these are true decentralized applications, where there is no institutions in between. We can operate amongst ourselves, and this is the future. We need to embrace it. And the way we embrace it is by learning, education. So another thing that we need to look at are challenges. What are the challenges right now in the space? This is very important. The challenges we're facing right now, obviously, are regulations and compliance. And mainly, these regulations and compliance are more towards transparency, are more towards AML, anti-money laundering, and KYC, know your clients. And also regulations are also based on client protection, okay? Customer protection. There's so many scams and rug pulls, honeypots in the industry right now. And part of all these compliance is to combat all these scams. So if you have an ecosystem, you develop it that is secure, it's audited, the smart contracts, all smart contracts are audited, it has a proven track record, it's been around for years, for over a year, and it's been tried and tested, it already went through a bear market, it does what it needs to do. These are the type of projects you want to look at, because especially the ones that really focus on the core values of the blockchain technology, which are to empower individuals. The next is security, okay, and scalability. This goes hand in hand as well. So security is very important as well. And there are still many technical and operational challenges, and that are trade-offs to be solved and optimized. And this is exactly what we're talking about. There's so much inefficiency in this space right now. And one of them we touched base on how inefficient the retention of liquidity is on Bitcoin. and how Grayscale and Fidelity and BlackRock, they're all having these deep volumes and deep liquidities within just within a little bit over 2 months, and they already have amassed such deep liquidity, and along goes these high volumes that you just see keeps skyrocketing. So this is what you need for an efficient economy. And if you don't understand that liquidity and volume goes hand in hand, and you don't start aggregating liquidity, we will fall behind. And we see that they're not thinking of us. All these real world assets, all these stable coins, new stable coins, commodities, treasury funds, all of this is built for them, for institutions, okay, and for large, heavy whales that are already well off. It's not for the 99%. So always keep that in mind. So you want to be part of communities that develop ecosystems, mechanisms, strategies that are in the favor of the community. Now, education is the next thing, education and adaptation. So the education and adaptation of crypto are crucial for achieving the vision and mission of crypto. However, there are still many gaps and obstacles that need to be bridged and overcome, such as the lack of awareness, understanding, and trust, the complexity and usability of crypto. Now you see why one of our 4 pillars is education, because we understand that there's still many gaps and obstacles that we need to bridge. Lack of awareness, this is why we inform. Lack of understanding, this is why we educate. And this lack of trust, this is why we inspire. Okay, so this is one of our 4 pillars that we stress about, and security is also one of our 4 pillars that we also ensure that we develop our own tokens. But we'll get into more details as we progress. Now let's look at the opportunities. We've looked at the challenges, and like we say, our ecosystem always looks at the challenges and finds solutions for them. So for the educational challenge and adaptation challenge, we found a solution. We have weekly events. This is one of them. We have daily Zooms and VCs open. Those are all part of the educational part of it. Security is also one of our 4 pillars we found a solution for. We'll get into more details as we progress, but for now, keep this in mind. Now let's look at the opportunities. Innovation and development. These are the opportunities. So the innovation and development of crypto are driven by the creativity and collaboration of the crypto community. This is beautiful. There is no innovation and development without the creativity and collaboration of the crypto community. This is why you always see our community leaders saying, one project, one community, and this is why you see that we always stress on one of our 4 pillars is the global digital economy, right? A global digital community. It's all about the community. Now, which consists of diverse and talented individuals and groups from various backgrounds and disciplines. So this is exactly what we always talk about. A community that is creative and collaborative, which consists of diverse, talented individuals. If you're a community leader, you're an influencer, you're a content creator, this is what we always talk about. And this is what's needed to really innovate and develop a successful and sustainable ecosystem. We need this. And another thing is inclusion and empowerment. So the inclusion and empowerment of crypto are enabled by the accessibility and affordability of crypto, which can reach and serve everyone with an internet connection and a smartphone. So crypto can provide financial and social inclusion. Financial and social inclusion. We don't see financial and social inclusion with these institutions unless you have 5 million and above sitting around. Grayscale is not doing that either. BlackRock is definitely not doing it, right? And these are the reasons why we shouldn't pay, even the real world assets All these diamonds, gold, all these tokenized assets, they're all for institutions, investors, and pension funds. They are not for, they're not to include and empower us, the 99%. So this is why it's important to be part of an ecosystem of a community that is literally including you and empowering you. And we'll get into more details with this. So crypto can provide financial and social inclusion and empowerment to the unbanked and underbanked, the marginalized, the oppressed, and the aspiring and ambitious. So another thing is transformation and distribution and disruption. This is the final one, community. The transformation and disruption of crypto are manifested by the impact and influence of crypto on various sectors and industries, such as, of course, finance, media, art, and gaming. So crypto can transform and disrupt the existing models and paradigms, such as, and this is very important. This is what crypto is all about. We have to transform and disrupt existing models. What are existing models? This is the existing model we have right now, a very rigged financial system that is debt-driven, that is inflationary, and the only way to kickstart the economy is to raise your debt ceiling and to stop printing money. That's the only way. So that's the system that we're facing right now. And in order to innovate, we have to transform and disrupt the existing models. This is what we need to do, and this is what we are doing. Another thing also is we have to create new and better alternatives. We have to create new and better alternatives than the existing ones. Those are very important items. So to conclude, crypto is not just technology. It's not just a currency or an asset. It is literally a movement, a culture, and a vision. These are very important things to understand. This is why we always say we are so carried away with coins and tokens, and we think that's what crypto is all about. But it's deeper than that. It is literally a movement, it's a culture, and it's all about a vision, forward thinking. So it is a movement that aims to create more open, fair, and democratic world. It is a culture that values innovation, collaboration, and diversity. And it's a vision that imagines a future where everyone can participate, contribute, and benefit from the digital economy. That's what the blockchain technology is all about. And this is where we are right now. And this is what we need. This is the ideal use of blockchain, is a vision that imagines a future where everyone can participate, not just those with the deep wallets or institutions, like we see Grayscale, only for institutions, or like we see here, also again, only institutions and pension funds. So institutions are creating assets for other institutions. You're not included here. But all we need here is everyone should be able to participate, contribute, and benefit from this digital economy. This is what this is all about. In summary, what do we need to do here? We need to create an ecosystem where everyone can participate, can contribute, and benefit from this digital economy. We need to have an ecosystem where the inclusion and empowerment that enables the community to feel included and empowered, okay? And crypto can do that. It provides financial and social inclusion and empowerment. And this is what our ecosystem is all about. Besides all that, we need to also do something different. Like we said, we need to disrupt the existing system, and we need to change the existing system. So we can't be inflationary, debt-driven, and enslaving the majority in debt and setting them up to be indebted and using the power of compounding against them. So all of this needs to change, right? So besides all that, what do we need to do? We need to minimize inflationary pressure. So we need to be at least deflationary, if not scarce. And our objective should be to achieve price stability. How do we do that? This is what smart money has been doing from day one. Aggregate liquidity. Once you do that, volume will follow. Easy as that. So liquidity, aggregate liquidity, and volume will follow. This is how you achieve this, and that will bring stability in prices. And then finally, you minimize circulating supply. How do you achieve this? You achieve this by staking, okay? With staking, you minimize the circulating supply. And staking, like we saw, is a big deal. Grayscale just launched an institutional fund just for staking, to have staking distributions. So that's another big issue. So minimize inflation by being at least deflationary, if not scarce. Achieve price stability. How do you do that? You have to aggregate liquidity. After you aggregate liquidity, volume will follow. This is what you want. With liquidity and volume, you have a healthy economy. And finally, you have to minimize your circulating supply. You achieve this by staking. All of these things that we see here, institutions are already doing it, but they're doing it and to participate, you have to be an institution yourself or a very wealthy individual. It's not for the common people. It's not for the 99%. With that said, minimizing inflation, achieving price stability, and minimizing circulating supply. Let's zoom in now and see what added value are we bringing through our ecosystem. What are we doing to bring value to this ecosystem? And now this is now where we zoom in. And let's go step by step. Minimizing inflationary pressure. This is very important. How do we go about minimizing inflationary pressure? If you see here, through like we said, we have to do things differently, right? We have to transform and disrupt, right? This is exactly what we need to do. We have to transform and disrupt the existing models and paradigms, okay? We have to do that and create new and better alternatives. And this is exactly what we did. So instead of creating a debt-driven, inflationary monetary system, we went ahead and started developing a liquidity-driven, scarce system that incentivizes, and you see here, not just institutions for staking distributions, but our staking distributions are for common folks, for the 99%, for you and me. You don't have to have 5 million to be part of this. You're not excluded. It's not just for the 1%. This is for everyone. So our ecosystem covers, if it comes to staking, it's not just for institutions. It's for everyone here. If it comes to minimizing, like we say, minimizing inflation, we do that. We have the bonding mechanism right here, right? If it comes to achieving price stability, how you do that, you have to retain liquidity, right? And then volume will follow. That's exactly what we do. We retain liquidity, and then volume will follow after that. And then you have to minimize your circulating supply. How do you do that? Staking, right? We saw Grayscale, but Grayscale does it for institutions. We do it for the regular folks, the 99%, and we do it by distributing USDC. So you see that we developed an ecosystem that is tackling all the challenges and that is addressing everything that needs to be addressed to be ready and prepare for the future of blockchain, using the blockchain technology. And the future of finance is blockchain technology, but only if you use strategies, tokenomics, mechanisms, and put them in place. And you don't have to have individuals in between, like we said here. It's trustless, right? everything is smart contracts right here. It's all about smart contracts. These are self-executing contracts that are not that are encoded on the blockchain and perform actions based on predefined rules and conditions. They facilitate trustless and transparent transactions. And this is exactly what this is all about. This is why you can verify here. You can come here, you'll see, let's go back. You'll be able to see, okay, it's true. We started with 1 million total supply, right? There was 1 million in total supply. We don't have to trust this. We can go and verify. Let's go on the blockchain and we see, okay, now it's down to 971,000. So it's really literally scarce, right? So obviously this smart contract is doing exactly what it was meant to do. We don't have to trust the devs, the founders, the community members. We don't have to trust them. We can come here and verify that literally the supply keeps shrinking. And we can go further. We can look at our staking platform, right? This was the next thing. Minimize your circulating supply. We can verify this. We see that 59% of this is being staked right now. We can verify that on the blockchain. We even see how many tokens are being staked right now and removed from circulation, right? We can verify. We don't have to trust. We can really go and verify. And we can go even further and look at the smart contract directly, because now we need to talk about staking, right? We can't, these individuals are not on the blockchain yet. So how are we able to verify? But if you're on the blockchain, you can go and check how much USDC is in here. How much is in here? How much you can verify, how many tokens are staked right now. So everything is verifiable, and you don't have to trust the founders or the devs or the community members. You can just come on here and verify. And this is the beauty of the blockchain technology. This is why it's the future. It's trustless, it's immutable, it's transparent, you know, and this is what sets it apart. So this is all that we do. We retain liquidity, just like the ETFs are doing. You have to retain liquidity to get the volume going. And this is what we do. You have to be scarce. If not deflationary, you have to be scarce. These are one of the obligations. You have to minimize inflationary pressure, right? And then finally, you have to achieve price stability. And this is what we do by retaining liquidity. And then with the USDC distributions, like I said, we can verify 1% goes towards accumulating USDC distributions. Staking plays a major role. And this is why you see here crypto staking has outperformed dividends of the stock market. This is why you see Grayscale, an institution, is now heavily invested in crypto funds with staking rewards. This is the future, community. This is what we're anticipating. This will be the norm in 5 to 10 years. And if you understand this, you're building something for the future. You're building something that will be relevant in 5 to 10 years and beyond. You're building something that is sustainable, that is not inflationary, debt-driven, and loss of purchasing power, and that the only way to trigger it is to accumulate more debt. This will entrap the participants of the economy, because this means that even the participants, the citizens and residents of this economy, they have to take on more debt, right? That's how the system was built. But we flip the script and say, no, you can accumulate liquidity and have the compounding effect work for you, right? Instead of the debt being accumulated and piled up, you have your liquidity piling up for you. Because like we always say, in order to qualify and play the game like these individuals are playing, the 1% are playing, how will you have 5 million laying around if you don't have any assets? How will you be able to participate in such funds if you don't even have assets, if you don't have liquidity, if you don't have a cash flow? This is where we enable and empower regular people like us to participate on a platform that not just educates them, but empowers, equips, and enables them to have collateral, have liquidity, and the distributions. And this is how you qualify to play the game of the 1%, because now you have real asset that is liquid and that is scarce. There's nothing like it out there. Like we said, even if you have diamonds, you can always mine more diamonds. If you have real estate is in demand, you can always build more homes. If you have a stock, you can always issue out more shares, right? If you have gold, you can mine more gold. And as we know, the monetary system works, debts, we already at 34 trillion and still counting. And to just service the interest debt of the debt alone, US has to pay 1.6 trillion just for interest alone. The debt will never stop. And this is the trap they want to put the citizens and residents in as well. And this is where we disrupt the economy. We disrupt the ecosystem and we do things differently. We empower our community to have collateral in the form of BRL, to have liquidity because we are retaining it for them, and then give them distributions so that they're liquid. This is how you qualify, and this is how you play the game of the 1%, and this is how we enable the community to be able to play the game of the 1%, get out of the debt trap, and participate in accumulating collateral, liquidity, and also get the distributions without having to have at least 5 million, or unless you're an institution, or have 5 million laying around to participate in these distributions. This is not what this is about, because this is not inclusive, this is exclusive. It keeps 99% out of this system. And this is what BlackRock is also doing. And this is also what these other asset-backed, like Diamond and all of them, they are focusing on. It's only available for institutional investors, such as pension funds and endowments. So it's not inclusive, it's exclusive. So if we zoom out, community, we are using a blockchain technology that is transparent. You don't have to trust the community, the founders. You can come here and verify and see for yourself how USDC is being accumulated with trading volume. You can see for yourself here how liquidity is being accumulated with every trade. You can see how the liquidity to market cap ratio is very healthy. And you can see how steady the market has been just doing extremely well. And you can also see that with these great fundamentals, we are building something that is addressing or preparing us to really be part of the future, because the blockchain technology is the future, by minimizing inflationary pressure, by achieving price stability, and by minimizing circulating supply. It's a tick for our ecosystem. And we add more to it. These are just the fundamentals. We've been just talking about the fundamentals, which go under liquidity. Of course, we educate as well, because education is key, like we say. For adaptation to take place, we need to educate. We need to inform and empower. And then the security is another pillar, like we said. This is why we have Survivor and Killer Whale as well. This is why we have these two community tokens that are also extremely unique and have a great narrative in the space. With Killer Whale being the only and the first whale dedicated token, and with Survivor being the very first token that is dedicated to the women in this space. So they're all original narratives with very strong fundamentals, strong tokenomics that focuses on these three key pillars: minimizing inflation, achieving price stability, and minimizing circulating supply. This is what Survivor is doing here. If you look at its tokenomics, it has a binding mechanism, locked liquidity for 100 years, no team tokens, no pre-sale, no whitelist. 100% of the token of the supply is in the liquidity pool, and contract is renounced. So it's all contract based, and it's achieving all of this. It's minimizing inflation. It has a true ban. It has a banning mechanism. Its objectives are to achieve price stability. It's retaining liquidity, and it's reducing its minimizing its circulating supply by banning tokens. And if we look at Survivor here, and we go, the largest wallet right behind the liquidity pool is a ban wallet, and it's over 6% right now. Even if we refresh, it's 6.1%. And these are tokens that are banned and removed from circulating supply, just like it says here. Minimum circulating supply. And this is what Survivor does. It's here to minimize your circulating supply with every trade. This is what Killer Whale does. Same thing. Same thing. If we refresh here, we see that the fourth wallet for Killer Whale, this is the ban wallet right now. It's closing in on 4%. And if we look at BULLRUN, we see that BULLRUN is even more radical. BULLRUN started with 1 million total supply. Now we are down to 971,000. So BULLRUN is even scarce now. It's scarce. So we can tick off all of these aspects that we need. We offer the same utilities, but not for institutions, but for the 99%. And same thing here. We are accumulating liquidity, but not by accumulating debt, but rather by accumulating liquidity, right? And then all this we're doing is also for the social network, meaning that we want to develop and we are growing this global community like we saw here. This global community is very important, okay? A decentralized community. And this gives the users, they have more control and ownership over their data, identity, and digital assets. You're your own bank, and you protect your own identity and data. This is very important. This is what true decentralization is all about. So community, to build a global decentralized community is very important. Like we saw, it consists of individuals that are talented and come from different and diverse backgrounds. And like we see here, instead, the power and responsibility are distributed among participants. This is what true decentralization is all about. It's not about one woman show, one man show. It's the power and responsibility are distributed among participants who are incentivized to cooperate and coordinate through mechanisms and economic models, right? Through smart contracts, trustless. And that's the type of community we're building, and we aim to develop one that is from diverse background, one that is has different talents. If you're a community leader, if you're a content creator, if you're a social media influencer, whatever it may be, whatever value and talent you have and you can add to the community, welcome to the community. This is the future community. This is the only way we can move forward, and this is how we can prepare ourselves as a community, as an industry, to move ahead. We need to aggregate liquidity like we see here. We need to aggregate liquidity. Once we do that, like we're doing, we're aggregating liquidity. Let's go back here. Tokenomics. We're aggregating liquidity right here. And with liquidity comes volume. And because we tie our volume directly to adding even more liquidity and banning even more tokens and accumulating even more distributions, this will be a sustainable and efficient platform for the future. And we'll go beyond the bull run and the bull cycle. And just to wrap this up, I want us to really understand here. And I see, by the way, that Survivor is out, BULLRUN is out as well, and Killer Whale is out as well. So all of the tweets are out, community. let's engage with these tweets. All three are out already. So let's ensure that we engage with them. To wrap this up, of course, I would like us to do some math just to make a point. And to do this math, let's look at this. To do some math, just to make sense out of everything. Let's just make sense out of everything. Let's go to the. Let's even go to the next page. Let's pick any random community token. Okay, let's pick any random community token. Volume is 500 million. Okay, let's take that for example. Let's take that 500 million. So let's say we had 500 million, right? Let's say we have 500 million in volume. And let's do it 1%. So that gives us 5 million. What does this mean? 5 million would mean that $5 million worth of BRL tokens will be banned. That means 5 million worth of survivor tokens will be banned, and same for killer whale as well. Okay, so let's maintain with BULLRUN. So 5 million worth of BULLRUN tokens will be banned and removed from circulation, right? Like we saw here. This number will keep shrinking. So 5 million worth of BRL tokens will be removed from the maximum supply. So this will drop drastically. And this 5 million, keep in mind, is just trading volume for 1 day. It's just 1 day. Now let's move on. Same with USDC. So currently, like we saw here, if we go to the smart contract, the staking contract, right now there's roughly 800 in USDC, $800 in USDC. Based on the calculations and the volume, daily volume, there'll be $5 million worth in USDC for the community, for those who decide to stake, right? Those who decide to stake, which are actually 59%, let's look at it. So 59% of the community members are staking their tokens. They'll be part of this 5 million USDC. And this is for the regular community members. This is not for institutions. You don't have to have 5 million to participate. These are not for institutions, like it says here, available only for institutional investors and pension funds. No, this is for regular people like you and myself. So 5 million worth every day. Now, the beautiful part is when it comes to liquidity. To do that, we have to now, because it's 3% goes towards retaining liquidity. Now we have to multiply this by 3. That's 15 million. Well, what does this really mean? Every single day, 15 million will be added right here. Right now, we're at 284,000, right? So in 1 day, 15 million worth of liquidity will be put in here. What does that mean? Why is that so important? This means that traders will love this. And because we're aggregating liquidity, as we're having more liquidity, this will bring what? More volume. And because we have a positive flywheel effect, that means that the more liquidity we retain, the more volume we'll get. And the more volume we get, the more liquidity that we keep accumulating. The more we keep burning, so the scarcer the supply, and also the USDC stakers, the BRL stakers are receiving more USDC as well. So this turns into a vicious positive feedback loop that keeps the community sustainable and grounded. This means that when the market is done and the bull run is done, and after a bull market always comes a bear market. This was last bull market. Everything was nice going up, but everything that goes up will come back down. Usually with Bitcoin, it's up to 80%. With other alt tokens or meme coins, it's 99%. So why is it so important to have strong fundamentals and mechanisms in place? So that this doesn't happen. You don't have to go all the way down to 80% or 90%, 99%, because it's a win-win for everyone. Like I said, the traders benefit because there's deep liquidity. And if you have deep liquidity, you have a lot of volume. This means there's a lot of traders that are trading because you have the liquidity. So if once we amass liquidity, the traders will keep trading even after the bull run. Because remember, like we said, what triggers a bull run? What triggers a bear market? Liquidity. Liquidity triggers a bull market if there is a lot of liquidity in the market. But once liquidity starts being sucked out of the market, a bear market gets triggered. But we don't have to worry about that because we are the ones retaining liquidity. So as we are going up, we are retaining liquidity. So once we reach the peak, we have deep liquidity and we have enough USDC distributions locked up in this staking platform. We just did a math. We saw that for one day, having 500 million in volume, for example, that's 5 million in one day. So these stakers, which represent 59%, they're not going anywhere. They'll remain staked. So if majority remains staked, and because they want to receive USDC distributions, that means majority is not going to do this right here. This is not going to happen because they're busy accumulating liquidity in USDC form. And the traders have enough liquidity. They don't have to fight over liquidity being dried out. This happens to Bitcoin because Bitcoin has a horrible liquidity to market cap ratio, like we saw here. In 15 years, and with the 1.3 trillion market cap, they only have 1.3 billion in liquidity. So how small is this? Let's do the math. Let's continue. 15 million is one day. Let's calculate 1 month. 450 million in 1 month. This is, we looked at the second page of community token. So one of the lowest volumes. And in 1 month alone, we will have accumulated almost half of the liquidity of the largest cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, which sits at 1.2 trillion right now. I mean, 1.2 billion, 1.3 billion. Let's look at further. What if we do for the year? So let's do times 12. 5.4 billion. Now we have 5 times more liquidity almost than the largest cryptocurrency within one single year. We have more than 4 times the liquidity just because we are more efficient. And we used a community token, not even in the top 100. We used a community token that is actually not even retaining liquidity. So obviously, they're not going to have a high volume because they're not retaining liquidity. But still, we used that as an example just to make a point. So we used a community token that has is on the 111th randomly. And within 1 year, we will have surpassed the largest cryptocurrency as far as liquidity is concerned. This is just to do the math and show you how important liquidity is, because liquidity goes hand in hand with volume. And volume, once you have volume, and we have tied our volume to retain even more liquidity, burn even more tokens, and accumulate more USDC, now we have a sustainable ecosystem that is liquidity driven, that is collateral driven, and that empowers, enables, and the community to play the game of the 1%. And is not losing its purchasing power, it's not inflationary, and doesn't need debt to trigger the market, but rather because it accumulates liquidity, the bull run will keep running. It will keep going because there is liquidity in there. And as long as there's liquidity in the market, their bull run will keep running infinitely, perpetually. And this is what the crypto space has not understood yet. And this is why adults came into the room and accumulated 17 billion worth of liquidity and are showing us how their volume just keeps skyrocketing. They did this in 2 months. But 15 years later, the largest cryptocurrency still hasn't figured out how to accumulate liquidity. And this is why you see it going up during the bull run and then dumping right back down because lack of liquidity. It goes this and then it goes all the way down again. It does this and then it will go all the way down again. These are the cycles, liquidity cycles, boom and bust, bear and bull markets. They're all led by liquidity. If there is less liquidity being removed from the community, from the ecosystem or from the industry, you get this. And as bull market is happening, as liquidity enters the space by interest rate cuts, through interest rate cuts, this is what you see right here. And because we understand the fundamentals of economics, we created and developed an ecosystem that on its way up, it accumulates enough liquidity so that once it reaches its peak, people don't have to panic and sell because there's not enough for everyone. And also there's no incentives for those to hold because they are not on a proof of stake like Grayscale is into now and offering to institutions. And we developed a system that is a win-win for the traders and the holders. So this is it, community. And for those that are new into the industry, feel free to join our sessions, be part of our ecosystem, our communities. We have very, very active members that will be happy to educate you, to walk you through your crypto journey and just help you on, or just share their experiences with you and just guide you through your journey. It's all about growth, and that's the only way we will bring crypto adaptation into the space. If you don't mind, let me close my screen and share with you again. This is the session for today, community. And thank you so much for participating today in today's challenge again. This was very, very vital. It was very, very important. And I'm glad that we were able to participate in this. So with that said, community, that's what we have for today. Like I said, let's come back to you and check your feedbacks. I hope, meanwhile, we were able to engage with these beautiful tweets. And this is very important that we do. Let me see who is here and who else has something to say. We have my brother Luke here. BRL has the best utility, just need more marketing to bring in the volume. This is exactly what this 90-day challenge is all about. Like we said in this session, and this is really important to understand, is that it's all about us, the community. We are the ones that will bring about the change. Our consistency and everybody participating with different talents from different regions of the world to develop and grow this community, global community. And this is what this is all about. Queen Nancy says, yes, Queen Mama, 10 more days to go. Thank you, BULLRUN family, for your dedication and commitment. Absolutely. 10 days more to go. This is exactly what the commitment is all about. We did an 80-day challenge. Point out any other crypto community out there that is going above and beyond on a consistent way like this, consistently showing up day in, day out for 80 days. We're aiming for 90 days and beyond. This is very unique. This is exactly what's needed. And this is what needs to be understood, that it's in our hands. There are no influencers out there that understand how our ecosystem works. They can't explain for a minute on how our fundamentals work. They have no clue. It's us within the community that understand it. This is why we inform. This is why we educate. This is why we inspire, with the aim that everybody will be able to pick up and move to the next level and educate and inform, just like we are doing right now. And this is what's already going on Zooms. If you would be participating in Zooms, you will be educated, because we have community members on VCs all day long on Zooms, and in addition to these 3 weekly events. So there is no excuse for the ignorant. We have everything right here. If you need information, if you need education, we have a library on YouTube. We have VCs recorded on Telegram. We have on Twitter Space. We have Twitter Spaces on our pages. You can just go and listen in and educate, inform yourself. And the beautiful thing is we always educate on the industry. It's not just all about our ecosystem. The only time we bring our ecosystem is just to build the bridge, build the parallels, and highlight how we are taking advantage of the challenges in the industry and how we are addressing those challenges. That's when we bring out our ecosystem. But we educate on the industry. We educate on finance, on how money works, on how these cycles work. These informations, you don't even get them at Ivy League universities. These are informations that not all or not many crypto communities give you. You have to do this research yourself, just like we are doing them. We are doing all this research on our own, and then we're sharing it with you, the community. So I wished I had a community early on when in our crypto journey that was giving us all these heads up and equipping us, empowering us, not just with knowledge, but giving us a platform that enables us to play the game of the 1%, where we don't have to be in the debt trap, but we can actually be in a collateral and liquidity trap, which is great, and you have all the equipments you need to play this game and to win at it as well, because it's a community driven. Let's go ahead. My brother Abdullah says, warm greetings to you all. Warm greetings back to you as well, brother Abdullah. And like we said, Queen Val here had put the tweets are out, Killer Whale is out, Survivor is out, and so is BULLRUN. Let's engage with these tweets, as it took so much time to develop them, to create them by the entire community. So let's ensure that we participate in these. We engage with them as well. My uncle says here, Uncle George, greetings family. Thanks Steve for always bringing us up to speed in matters of tokenomics. BRICS is coming up big and bringing blockchain as means of trade. This will widen crypto space. Absolutely. Very well said. Great point. Right now there's a war, financial war going on. Well, economic war going on right now between the BRICS and SWIFT. So the BRICS nations are not limited to just those 5 nations, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. But now the UAE is there, Saudi Arabia is there, and many, many more nations have signed up to be part of it. And they are coming out with their own central bank digital currency that they want to be using, and de-dollarize the US dollar that is using SWIFT, and is still betting on every nation individually coming out with their own individual CBDC, central bank digital currency. So this is going to be very interesting. And because we are on the chain, they'll be using the blockchain obviously as well. But because these are sovereign nations, they won't be on public chains such as Ethereum. They'll be on private blockchains. And once they're on private blockchains, they won't be participating in all these vibrant innovations that we're experiencing, like we saw with these different DeFi projects, with the liquidity that is mainly focused on the Ethereum blockchain, and so on and so forth. So the future is bright for us, community. And there's nothing more beautiful than knowing that you are part of an ecosystem that is solving a problem, that is using the challenge to their benefit by coming up with a solution, and that is not focusing on the traditional financial aspects of things and doing the same old, but revolutionizing, doing things differently, starting with the financial system that is debt-driven, inflationary, and is setting you up and having your compounding, the power of compounding, work against you by accumulating even more debt against you. So this is what this is all about. Luke, yes, we definitely have the best utility, and as we each continue to commit to stepping up our individual efforts collectively, sharing this incredible movement, volume will continue to increase. Absolutely, Brother Theo. This is exactly what this session was about and was about to highlight. Very well said, great Brother Theo. This is very important to understand. We often like to just think that if somebody just shills about BULLRUN, volume will come. No, the true adaptation is education. People need to be informed and educated and inspired, not just hyped, randomly hyped for no reason at all. There's enough hype tokens out there, with hats even, dogs and cats. So there's enough of that. And this is why adults are in the room now. Adults are busy aggregating liquidity. They're busy coming up with real world assets. They're busy generating, volume through their accumulation of liquidity. They're solving real world assets. They're solving real world problems. They're bringing solutions onto the blockchain while we are busy just wasting so much time as an industry. This is why adults in the form of BlackRock, ARK Invest, Grayscale, they're all busy doing what we were supposed to do: be more efficient, aggregate liquidity, look after your own. They're looking after their own. They're looking for institutions, pension funds, high value net worth individuals, and nobody's looking out for the 99%. This is where our ecosystem comes in. And this is exactly what my great brother Theo is saying. We need to step up. We need to really step up and get the education game going. We need to start understanding how finance works, how the industry works, what are the boom and bust cycles, what triggers these boom and bust cycles, why is education important, why is liquidity important, what triggers the market, what does it take for a health economy to take place. These are things we need to understand. And once we understand these things, we'll embrace BULLRUN, because BULLRUN is the only platform right now in the space that is literally addressing and embracing all of this. And this is exactly what it means. And if you see Grayscale starting to pick up proof of stake tokens and staking Solana, Polkadot, Osmos, and so on and so forth, that just tells you that staking is the future. And keep in mind, our main utility, we are a staking platform with NFT boosters that which revenues add to our liquidity. And we are the only deflationary, not just deflationary, scarce staking platform that ties its USDC distributions to the volume, which is feeding the liquidity, which causes a flywheel effect. This is a very sophisticated mechanism we have in place that once triggered and once running, it will be unstoppable. The adults have already showed us how it's done within less than 2 months. Aggregate liquidity, get the volume going, boom, you're a success. Move on to the next fund. And the only participants, if you have 5 million or above, and we still can't get it, So we are our best influencers, we as a community, because the way you influence is by your knowledge. The more knowledgeable we are as a community, that's the more adaptation will come on our platform. But we need to step up. We need to really put in the work, put in the time, as we have community members all day long on Telegram VCs, all day long on Zoom, and we do this weekly community events consistently. So no room for ignorance. There is everything that you need is out here. The platform is here, the education is here, the encouragement, the information, the inspiration. What else do we want? So we can only lead the cow to the ocean, but they have to drink themselves. We can't drink for everyone. So we as a community, that's all we can do. So everybody else that have to step up and also embrace, because this is the future. So whether you embrace it now, the better for you, because 5 years, 10 years down the road, you'll have to embrace it anyway, because it will be the norm. That's the future. So this is what it's all about, community. We have my brother Glenn here, super excited for that's what's coming. Absolutely. Really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. Brother Dimo says, well said, my brother. No reason for ignorance when knowledge is available here every day. Absolutely. I mean, honestly, it's here every day, all day, on VCs all day, on Zooms all day, every day. And these events, even on different platforms, on YouTube, on Twitter, on VC, Telegram, everywhere. So this is a good thing. This sets our community apart. We are all about educating, and we have great community members, community leaders, and educators that take their time to, to educate and to really inspire. Queen Evelyn says here, thank you, Steve, for the School of Crypto. I learn every day. We appreciate you a lot. Thank you very, very much, Queen Evelyn, for your feedback. This is the whole idea. We learn every day, even myself. We can never learn enough, especially in a dynamic industry such as this. There is always new things, new regulations, new technologies, and it's beautiful. I'm glad that you can take a lot from it. And this is a great feedback for us. Thank you very much. My great brother Theo here. Adults are in the building. This is the great way to wrap up this session today. There's nothing much else to say after this one. Literally adults, financial adults are in the room. They've been showing us a simple blueprint. Retain liquidity. Liquidity triggers the bull run. That's just basic fundamentals. Without liquidity, there is no bull run. You need liquidity, a lot of it. And once you have it, you get volume. Once you have volume, you have transactions. Once you have transactions, you generate more volume. More volume gives more liquidity, burns more tokens, and accumulates more USDC distributions. It's as simple as that. And once that remains within the ecosystem, you have yourself something that is more efficient than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin doesn't retain liquidity. Better utility than Bitcoin, because Grayscale and BlackRock, they're all now into funds that give out dividends or give you some sort of distributions or staking distributions. So that's what investors or institutions want. That's the future. And then the scarcity part or deflationary part, that's another part. You need to have an asset that is at least deflationary, because in the long term, it's a better asset to have than an inflationary one. And you want to have an ecosystem that is liquidity driven, not debt driven, that enables you to have collateral liquidity and the USDC distributions. Now you're ready to tackle the world. Now you're ready to play the game that 1% play. And this is why we're in the industry to do, just like the adults in the building, like my great brother Theo said. So with that said, community, I want to thank you once more for taking your time today, participating in today's YouTube session. Your presence has really graced us with a lot of joy. I had fun, like always, being here with you, engaging with you, having these dialogues with you. For all that participated, the feedbacks, the positive energy, It was very contagious. I was able to feed off of your energy, and really, I had a lot of fun with it. I'm looking forward to today's successful 80th day of this tweet challenge, and we have 9 days left to go now that we're done with day 80. It's just incredible. I want to commend all of you for all your efforts, your consistency. This is all we need. We have everything going for us. We've seen today what the future brings, what the future holds for us. We see things that are still in the pipelines now, and we need to think ahead, 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead. What type of assets will we have? Assets that are deflationary, at least, if not scarce. Assets that retain liquidity like the adults do, and that will generate volume due to the high liquidity. So even if the music stops and everything else around us starts crumbling because liquidity is being sucked out of the market, our liquidity will remain, and we will keep the music going beyond the bull market. This is what we want. And the most important thing, it's for the community. It's not for institutions. It's not for wealthy individuals, the 1%. This is for the common people like you and me that can have an opportunity to play the game of the 1%. The rich understand the power of liquidity, but because of ignorance, a lot of people perish because they're chasing price instead of value. Value is liquidity. Price will go up and down based on liquidity. So why focus on price, which is a symptom, if you have to focus on the core, most important thing, which is the liquidity? Liquidity dictates the price, right? The fundamentals, the tokenomics, the mechanisms, those are the things that dictate the price. So if you really care about the price, you have to care about the fundamentals, the liquidity, the sustainability, the efficiency of use of volume. Those are the things that, if you really care about the price, those are the things you need to look for. This is why smart money is successful. This is why smart money is at 70 billion in assets right now, and over almost 200 billion in volume right now. And this is why Bitcoin is still stuck at 1 billion after 15 years. And based on the math we did, we'll be at 4.5 billion in 1 year, just based on 500 million in volume, not at 32 billion in volume like Bitcoin is. With that said, community, I want to wish you a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful rest of your week. And thank you for showing up. Thank you for your commitment, your consistency, and making day 80 a major success. With that said, thank you for engaging with the tweets today, putting the word out. We are the difference makers as a community. We as a community, global decentralized community, make the difference because we have the information, we have the knowledge, and we are inspired. If we tweet, if we educate, it's more trusted than random individuals who have no clue about how our ecosystem works, who have no understanding whatsoever what added value that we bring into our industry. I won't trust anyone who can't tell me in a minute what our ecosystem is all about. I won't trust them. I rather trust our community members who understand how this ecosystem works, how our bulldozer system works, how our staking works, and especially who understands the industry, how the cycles work. Because if you understand the industry, you'll appreciate our ecosystem. That's all for today, community. I want to wish you all a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, and I wish you health, you and yours, and looking forward to day 81 tomorrow, and latest on Saturday. Let's meet again on Telegram and have a great dialogue like we did today. Bye-bye, everyone, and thank you for your participation today.